Look at verse 4. We see our faith believes in Bible creation. Our faith also should believe in a blood atonement. Listen to what he says. By faith, Abel, you remember him, don't you? We talked about him a few weeks ago when we were talking about building altars, making sacrifices. We know the story after the fall, after Adam and Eve sinned and everything changed. There came a time to worship God. They had two sons. One's name was Cain. One's name was Abel. You read about it in Genesis chapter 4. Again, a lot of folks will just dismiss that as folklore or just a fairy tale. But there were two sons. And Cain brought, we've talked about this before, Cain brought an offering of fruits and vegetables and stuff he grew in his garden. Some good-looking tomatoes, you know. And say, hey, God, here's my garden, man. I brought you the best stuff I had that I grew. And God said, that ain't gonna make it. So I don't want what you did. I don't want the works of your hands. I'm not interested in what a good gardener you are. I'm not interested in what a good singer you are, what a good preacher you are, what a good anything you are. I'm not interested in that. Abel brought a sacrifice of blood. It says in verse 4 that Abel offered unto God a more excellent sacrifice, a better sacrifice. Why? Because it had blood. Why? Because without the shedding of blood, there's no remission of sins. If God had to kill an innocent animal to cover Adam and Eve in the garden, he said, listen, that's when you worship me, you give me thanks that I was willing to take a life to save yours. It says, by faith, Abel offered unto God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous. You see, Abel didn't know about the cross. He didn't know about Christ, but he knew without the shedding of blood there was no remission of sins. So by faith, the substance and evidence of his faith was he was willing to take a lamb of his flock and offer it for his sins. He couldn't see ahead. He didn't know the whole end of the story, but he knew probably what his father Adam had taught him. And he brought the right sacrifice. It was a witness that he was righteous, God testifying of his gifts, and by it he being dead yet speaks. The blood of Abel still cries out from the ground. Because we all know the story. Cain became jealous. God gave him a chance to bring a right kind of sacrifice, and he didn't do it. And instead of shedding the blood of an innocent lamb, he shed the blood of his brother. Because he was envious.